All right, welcome back to SANDCAST podcast, everybody. Today we got Toni Rodriguez on the show. Welcome to the studio, or back to the studio.
Thanks.
Been on a few times now, right?
Yep, couple times, yeah.
3 maybe? 3 or 4?
I think 2.
2, okay.
Yeah,
All
this
right,
is the third.
This is the third, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, you've been busy lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how your off season was. We'll get into that. But before the off season, you were on a tear last year. So I'm excited to get into all that. Congrats on all the recent success and all
Thanks.
that. But first, how was your off season? What went down?
My off season was very chill. I went back to Louisiana for about a month, 3 weeks to a month, and just didn't do much. I did get some injections in my knees just for maintenance, PRP, and then I just kind of relaxed R&R with
Nice.
family and high school friends. I also got inducted into my high school Hall of Fame while I was there, so that was kind of cool.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So, yeah.
Heck
It was much needed, but I'm actually feeling maybe a little worse returning back to the sand,
Right.
body wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good.
Nice. How's the experience when you go home? I was talking about it with Evan recently, and he's like, "Man, when I go home, I'm like, it's just like barbecues, and people want to have some beers and hang out, and like, not too much working out going on his end, and whereas like when I go to Hawaii, it's similar, but I'm so active when I go home.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, this is supposed to be off season. Like, chill out. What's it like when you go home?
It's a lot of food.
Yeah, right.
A lot of
That's what Evan
food.
said as well.
Yeah, a lot of really, really good food. My mom is the best at making some of, the best like Southern dishes,
Oh, okay.
gumbo and
Oh, really?
chicken and dumplings. And,
I don't think I've had
yeah.
it proper, proper Southern food. I think I did do the Bourbon Street bachelor party once, and we
Okay.
stopped somewhere
Yeah.
and had some kind of gator soup or something. But
Okay.
that might have been more of like they're like
Yeah.
daring me
Yeah.
to eat it kind of thing.
You definitely need to go like get some crawfish.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds great.
It's the best.
Heck yeah.
It's the best.
What do you call it? You
can call it a crawdad or
crawdad
crawdad.
cookout or something.
Like
I
a
feel
crawfish boil.
a boil, all right.
A boil,
Okay.
yeah.
I feel like each part, like Travis had his own saying for whatever his
Yeah.
the crab
crab
boil or
boil,
crab
yeah.
bake, or
Yeah.
each place has their own like name for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get down on some of that now that I'm partnered with a local
Evan.
boy.
Yeah, he's got to get you down there.
Yeah.
You got to get some good Southern cooking.
Yeah, I want to get the SANDCAST tour down there.
Ooh.
Go see the community
Yeah.
a little bit and dip in there.
That would be awesome.
It was fun. My only time I played there actually was the New Orleans AVP with Came,
And you won.
and we won. So
Yeah.
I'm loving
Sweet.
that.
Yeah,
place.
you're liking
a bachelor
Louisiana.
party and a win.
Only
And
positive
AVP win.
things.
It's all been good. Yeah. So what, you've been back a few weeks now or a few months now?
Probably a month
Month.
or a little over a month.
Right now
I'm
it's
thinking.
beginning of February.
Yeah.
So been hitting the sand hard or kind of easing? What's kind of the strategy of getting the body back in shape here?
Yeah, I hit the ground running probably the second week of January, but then I went on an SOB trip.
Heard those are fun.
It was very fun. It was awesome. And then I played a lot of volleyball there. But that was kind of nice because it was like a little bit slower. So I didn't like fully like just boom, right back into
Yes,
training.
yeah.
But now I'm full training, feeling pretty good, back in the gym.
Nice. Okay.
Everything's slowly but surely coming together.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then we had to figure out a little bit of a partner shakeup. I'll let you break it down for people, right? But who we playing with this year? We running it back in some ways, or we switching it up? What's going on?
So I am playing with Geena Urango for AVP. We are going to run it back with San Diego Smash.
The champs. How could you not?
The champs, yes.
They better put you in San Diego again, by the way, right?
Yeah,
That makes
I'm
sense.
thinking so.
Right?
Yeah,
that
I'm thinking
makes sense.
so. So me and Geena will play the AVP season together, and then internationally, I decided that I want to try out a little bit of defense, and I'll be playing with Kylie Deberg as her defender. So
That is awesome.
some new exciting experiences to come.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what's the kind of, obviously, most partnerships try to stay together for AVP and for international, just because of ease of not playing with two people.
Yeah.
But I know the league has heavily incentivized you guys who made the championship to stick together, and you don't have to requalify.
Yeah.
But I got to imagine there's some chemistry and just like love for playing with Geena, and it looked like you guys had a lot of fun last year. So is that kind of, what are the levels there in terms of keeping that partnership alive?
Yeah, I think, so I met Geena back in I think it was 2016, when she was partnered with Benny.
Yeah.
And they actually came to Louisiana for an AVP tournament, and I was on the LSU indoor team at the time. Okay. And Benny played for LSU as well.
That's right, yeah.
And so they had came into our gym and chatted with us, and I just remember meeting her there. And then when I decided to play professionally and I moved out here, Geena was one of the first people that included me in trainings and asked me to come play fours. And so when we partnered up last season, it kind of came full circle. Yeah. And she's just such an awesome partner. Yeah. Probably one of the most level-headed individuals I've ever met. For sure. Overall. But as far as being my partner, I just feel like we say it a lot, but she's the yin to my yang. Yeah, and she has such a calming presence on the court. And I just really, really wanted to play with her regardless of if the championship, whatever with AVP, I wanted to play with her regardless, because I just feel like we have so much more to grow. Yeah. I feel like we were just getting started when the championship kind of hit.
Totally. And it went fast.
Yeah, it went so fast. Yeah. The league.
The league went fast.
You only play 4 weekends, and even looking at this year's schedule, we can play AVP Huntington, AVP MBO, and then 4 weekends of the league. So we have 6 weekends to play together.
I thought of it like that.
Yeah.
6 weekends.
That's it.
Whoa.
So not a lot, but I just feel like we've built such a good connection and chemistry, and I feel like for our team, the connection piece is really what I feel like we really relied on. And I feel like we talked about it a lot, but we always said whoever's the best team is going to win. Yeah. Because we all are very high level athletes. For sure. And so I think that was one of our big focuses last year.
Yeah, that's true. And it's interesting to think of it, to reframe our brains to thinking and I haven't been able to do it yet, of thinking of it you actually have a team. You want to somewhat, I don't know if you can, or to whatever extent you can, but invest in the other team and making them perform well, which from the outside, I think you're the only one who, or the one who was making the most noise for their men's team and cheering them on or getting the crowd going for that. I think you're the only one doing that, actually. But yeah, how was it just reframing the brain and I guess embracing that new format rather than maybe thinking it's weird and I don't know, being against it?
So I've always played a lot of team sports growing up. The only sport that I didn't play growing up that wasn't team was maybe track and field. Yeah.
And even college, now that I think of it, because I didn't get to play that either. You guys were on a team.
Right. Always on a team. And so beach volleyball is kind of it's kind of weird in that way that you only have one other person. So I actually thought it was cool that we had a men's team with us. Right. And that we got to cheer for them. And it was actually awesome to see them really cheering us on as well. Yes. I feel like we fully embraced how can we all come together and figure this out. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of when people are talking about the AVP, they don't understand why we have this men's team connected to us. But I think it's kind of fun. Yeah. And we actually all just met for lunch this past week. Oh, nice. Just to talk about the season and well, because we're one of the only people that are all together again.
Yeah, that's true. That knows their team, right?
Yeah. So it's fun to just talk about how we're gonna get better, how we're gonna set goals and that kind of stuff.
I love that. Yeah. That's so cool. Fun. I actually was wondering what teams were doing or if they're doing anything, and they're probably not. But then again, you guys are the champs, so you guys are kind of setting the bar in that way. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing, actually, that we all got to sit back and see, okay. And you guys were pretty far back in the rankings.
Oh my gosh.
We can talk about that too. But at the end of the day, you ended up winning it. and you guys did seem to have the best team camaraderie, maybe throughout.
Yeah.
And you ended up on top. So it's kind of like something for the other teams to look at. Like, okay, like there's value there. Look at that other team. They weren't maybe, they didn't have the highest win percentage. Not even close, probably, right?
We won exactly. 50% of our games.
Right.
And we won the championship.
So it's about winning at the right time.
Right.
And that when it comes down to it, at the end of the season, that more pressure, all that you don't want to be feeling pressure from your other team in a negative way. You want them to be lifting you up and whatnot.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I'm learning too here.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm one of your competitors.
Yeah.
I got to qualify first, but
Hope so.
It looked fun. It looked like you guys had a great time. Definitely looked like Geena was your yin to yang. You were just fired up the whole time.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of calm and laughing and smiling at you.
Yeah.
How's it been? It seems to me from the outside like you're enjoying yourself a lot right now. I think you've always probably enjoyed yourself, but that joy also started coming with wins towards the end of the season. Is that the way you've always played, with like high energy, just like laughing and all that, or have you had to kind of harness it and like hone in on that and like I guess manufacture it a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like it's ebbed and flowed for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm usually my best when I'm enjoying myself and like enjoying the game.
Yeah.
But I feel like last year, just kind of like evaluating the year or like looking back, one like major turning point for me is when I started working with Geena's sports psych, Dr. J, Justin Blake. He is Mind Right Sports Psychology. And I started working with him, doing some different techniques with him. And it was the week leading up to MBO that I started working with him. Yeah. And then we took a third in MBO, which was like our highest finish. And like, I just feel like that was such a big turning point. Like just the stuff that we worked on, like, or worked through, for sure. With some trauma and things like that. And yeah, like I kind of had like a full 180 as far as like things that were happening in my life. And then, yeah, volleyball just kind of took off, and my partnership with Geena just continued to grow and get better and better and better. And yeah, it was interesting for sure. But I definitely think like being like fun and positive and like just like having a good time is like where I'm going to thrive.
For sure.
Most likely. So.
Yeah, I think that's with most athletes as well. It's a matter of, can you get there? Can you get yourself to a headspace where you can access that joy and like the creativity that's needed, right? Versus like us being tight. And it's also something I keep seeing with just random athletes. Your teammate Miles Evans had mentioned within the last year or so, obviously his career just exploded. Mm-hmm. He mentioned the same thing. Oh, what was one of the turning points? I started working with a sports psych, figuring out how to just kind of hone in on, I guess, that consistency at the high level, right? Mm-hmm. And it comes up just so often. Even for me, I'm like, I feel lucky that I came across it at a pretty young age.
Yeah.
I mean, like high school and stuff, it was like, I heard about it, but it was the same old, like, just like, whatever. But then right towards the end of college and the beginning of my indoor pro career, I picked up a book. I didn't really get to learn from anyone, but I picked up a book or two and like started figuring it out and applying certain things that I was learning. And it was like, this is a cheat code right here.
Right.
And I feel like I've used that my entire career, but now I'm seeing certain players where they're like, oh, I don't know if they're going to make it past that, that next step. And then boom. Oh, what happened? Oh, sports psych. I was like, right. This is like, I'd be shocked if there's any athlete out there that really wants to play at a high level that's not taking advantage of it to a certain 100%. Extent, right? At this point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can all play beach volleyball.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We can all play.
At the
we
pro
can
level?
All perform.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
The skill. Like, it's just like a matter of the pressure.
And can you do over and over and over?
Yeah.
Just,
100%.
Crazy. Let's go into the other partnership, Kylie Deberg. Yeah. I mean, you're probably one of the top 5 blockers, I would say, right now for the U.S. We'll just keep it at 5, somewhere in the 5, right?
Yeah.
and obviously coming into winning a little bit more, and now we're gonna switch to defense.
I know it's a little crazy.
Yeah,
I'm sure people think it's a little crazy.
I can relate. I'm always wanting to play defense at all times. Actually, I think of it. Some ways it's just to entertain myself, but I'm like, I have this thing inside me of like, I'm a good volleyball player. I want to prove it. Don't stick me at the net, because I could go do that too. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some ego in there for me, but I don't think so. I think I just love playing the whole sport and like proving to myself that I can do it all.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. There's no judgment coming from my end. Plus, you got a pretty legit blocker in front of you.
Yeah,
So
she's
you guys should double block.
She's pretty big.
Yeah, she's big.
She's pretty big, and obviously has an amazing topspin jump serve, and she sides out, and I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm obviously making a run for 28, and I'm just like dabbling with the idea. Like I think it's this year is kind of like an experimental year,
Totally.
For a lot of people.
Yep.
And so, I had been talking to her last year at the beginning of the year, about potentially doing it, but I didn't feel like I was in a place physically or mentally to do it.
Yeah.
And so we kind of that kind of fizzled out, but she came to me at the end of last year and was kind of like, what do you think about this? And I was like, I'd definitely be open to it. And so, that's kind of how it started.
How much experience do you have? You've split before, right? Or no?
I haven't split before, but for indoor, I played 6 rotations. So
right.
Obviously it's different on the beach, but I feel like as a blocker, I can see the game pretty well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have pretty good hands up there and can make pretty good moves. And so I feel like obviously it'll be a different perspective of the game, but I'm just excited to see what we can do, and like maybe incorporating some jump sets and optioning, and just doing some of that creative stuff that you're seeing on the world tour more.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that is like one thing I'm really looking at these days is like, wow, the game's evolving.
Yeah.
Like, how much should I, and do I want to, and am I willing to like fail in terms of evolving with it, right? Yeah. Especially like for me, I've been out here for, I don't know, since 2012.
Yeah.
And I know my things that work, but then it's like, I still got to grow. I still got to evolve with the game as it changes. So I'm in that phase of like, first of all, I like experimenting. And like I said earlier, it's like, oh, I want to try that. Oh, that looks fun.
Yeah.
Let me try that. I bet I can do that. But also like, maybe that's what's best. You got to evolve with the game, and you just don't know unless you try it, I guess. So, experimenting with like a spread system, a little jump setting. How much is it on the girl side? I know we're seeing it, but how much have any girls like taken it to the level of like obviously not the men's Sweden, but like to where the men are going with it, to where option is the first option or hitting on two is the first option?
I haven't seen that many people. I watched a little bit of World Champs, and obviously Meg and Therese are, I feel like, one of the only women's teams that I've seen like trying to incorporate it more consistently. Yeah. So, but other than that, I haven't really seen many teams doing it.
It's coming though. Eventually. Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. It's you can see it coming. So
the thing is, you have to, if you're not selling the option, then the jump set's not like, why are you jumping? Kind of thing.
Like you need to be coming into swing.
That's what I thought at first too. I used to jump set with Hayden.
Okay.
Kind of just for fun.
Just cause
like, it works, but like I get that I can't make an error here, and then like I won't do it too much. Like that's how it felt.
Yeah.
But then later, is like these Swedish kids come in, they're jump setting every time. Like, well, that doesn't make sense, because imagine how many more jumps you're doing. If every time I set the ball, I also jumped. But I didn't realize that you can be a legitimate attacking force with high percentage from, going up to option that second ball like almost every time.
Right.
And then set it out of it. And it's like, okay, well, now we all got to rethink it. Now the whole sport's got to rethink it.
Yeah.
But it's fun, and I'm excited to see. It's cool to see you experimenting, and like this, like you said, this is the year to do it, right?
This is the year to do it. I think, yeah, it can. I mean, it can go one of two ways.
Right. Yes. Right.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
For sure. And now's the year to do it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think you have to tinker and like challenge yourself and try new things. You don't want to be doing it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It's like what Miles and Andy kind of talked about at times, where they're like, we were tinkering with things at the wrong times, perhaps. So they were kind of in the learning phase.
Yeah.
But look how much success they've had because they've tinkered and figured it out and then put it together at the right time. So yeah, I'm all for it. Both of you guys jump setting a little bit?
Yeah, Kylie's actually been jump setting more than me, and I was like, whoa. I'm
Bonus.
like, I'm like, whoa. I didn't expect this, but yeah, I mean, overall though, you know, playing on the women's net, it's, you know, we have really tough serves coming at us, so you know, worst case scenario, we just pass the ball up to the middle of the court and we just set regular inside out, hopefully at a high percentage, and you know, hopefully dominate.
Yeah, just side out and you're good. Doesn't matter what you do on defense if you side out every time. And then Kylie's also a LSU Tiger.
She is.
How's that, bringing that chemistry together?
It's really fun. Nice? Funny enough, we actually played against each other indoor. So she was at Mizzou.
Okay, got it.
Or Missouri. And we played against each other in the SEC when I was indoor at LSU. And then we actually never played beach together at LSU, though. I was already gone. But yeah, I think it's really awesome to have similar connection there. Yeah. And obviously she's one of my closest friends, which is also kind of an interesting dynamic. Having
fun on it's a fun follow on social media nowadays, right? With you two rolling around together.
Yeah.
Well, you and Geena as well, right?
Yeah. They're competing to see who can make the best content with me.
Right. I like that. That's a good way to get following. Just have a contest.
Yeah.
Who wants to be my social partner?
Right.
I love it. Okay, so last year won the league and then went on the world tour with Molly Shaw.
Yes.
Tell me about that journey there. I think our fans probably know, but let's recap how that went. Did you play? How many did you play in?
So we played all three. We played
just three.
China,
three
India,
challengers,
and Philippines. Yep.
China, India, Philippines.
Yes.
Came out with a medal in each one.
Which
is kind of unheard of right now.
Pretty crazy.
Nowadays.
I didn't realize that it was kind of crazy what we did, but yeah.
Yeah. It was very crazy.
Yeah. Like looking back, I don't know. It was like, it's not a blur, but it's just like, we were just like in a flow.
Yeah.
Like it was like we got there and funny enough, in our qualifying match in the first tournament, like we were down in the third. I'm fairly certain. Mm-hmm. We were down in the third, almost lost to even make it into the main draw. Somehow
Haiku, China, right?
And we somehow pulled it together, won that match, and we qualified. But like, that's what's so crazy about this sport is like you can be this close to not qualifying and then win the tournament.
Yes,
that's what's crazy to me.
Yep, I've seen that many times actually. It's almost like a superpower you gain. Yeah, like if you get yourself out of a hole and just get to the surface, it's like now you have like fresh life and there's no expectations, no pressure. Yeah, I've for sure had that happen to me on multiple occasions where you get to the end of the tournament, like, whoa, that was crazy. What happened? You're like, oh yeah, I like thought I was out of the tournament almost for, whatever at that end of that one set or whatever. Same with Evan. And
same with Evan.
They said they were on the ropes in the qualifier as well.
Yeah.
And won that same tournament.
Yeah. It was crazy too, because like me and Molly had we never played a tournament together. Mm-hmm. Like we had gotten the sand maybe a handful of times before we left.
Because it was right after the league?
Me and Geena won, or our team, San Diego Smash, won the AVP League.
Yeah.
I left the venue, went home, took a shower, grabbed my bags, and got on a flight.
To China.
Which
is a gnarly trip.
And then we played on Thursday and I didn't land till, I don't even remember. No, they moved the qualifier up to Wednesday. This was weird. This was a weird change that they did. So we landed on Tuesday morning, and then we played Wednesday, and I was like, oh gosh, like, am I going to be ready for this?
And Molly
like,
was just ready.
Yeah, Molly was ready, but I was like, am I going to be ready for this? Like,
Yeah.
this is like a lot of travel. I just played in the championship, such a high. Like, am I going to crash? Am I
Yeah.
just going to keep riding it? Like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? And so, yeah, I honestly feel like over the 3 weeks, I just kind of rode the high, and
Yeah.
Molly was an amazing partner, and yeah, it was interesting. Like, obviously I hadn't trained with her or played with her, and
Right.
so I was doing some things that I would do with Geena to her, but she was like super open and just like.
Did you ever call her Geena?
No, I never called her Geena,
I do that
but
all the time. Like, it takes me like a good like month to
good-
get my
yeah.
new partner's name down.
yeah,
Like I swear, like a year into my partnership with Cam, I think I called him Trev a few times. And same with Trevor. I was like calling him John for the first.
yeah,
John. Like, those like
Yeah.
quick bang bang moments.
yeah.
Well, good on you. You didn't even do it with Molly at all. Yeah, she's been on a tear as well.
Yeah.
Her name's really been coming up in a big way. She's playing with
Kelly Chang.
Kelly Chang, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, am I announcing this, or is it out there already?
I don't know,
But
Is
that's
it?
a big
Yeah, it's out
call
there.
up. That's a big call up.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for her. I'm really, really happy for her. I think she's an amazing player that has maybe been overlooked
Yeah.
by a lot of people, and I think that she is just a gamer.
Yeah.
Like
She's paid her dues too.
yeah,
She's been out here
she's
for a
done
while.
it. She's done it, and she's gotten a lot of medals on the international
Yeah.
tour. So
Right.
I'm really happy for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. It's a lot of new partnerships this year, on both sides.
Yeah, especially the guys. The guys is like crazy
Drama.
Yeah, so much drama.
I know.
Tell us the tea.
I don't even know all they're not even all set yet.
They're not even all set
as
yet
of right now.
Like, some
beginning of
people are
February.
waiting for phone calls.
There was like the Theo trickle down. That's one big one everyone was waiting for. And then
Yep.
now that Theo and Troy are set, there's the Caldwell Cook, and then
Yeah.
the trickle down below them
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
waiting around. So who knew the guys were so dramatic?
Some craziness.
I've been kicking that off the last few years. I had two partners for like 9 years, and then I had like 3 in the last 2.
Too.
I just had to
Happens.
sample around,
It happens.
Okay, so let's talk more about the run of the 3 medals.
Yeah.
China, you went and got a bronze,
Silver.
Started
Yeah.
with the silver.
Yeah.
Okay, and then where'd it go from there? Because this is end of season, by the way.
I think
People,
we were
like,
just honestly so stoked.
Were you exhausted at that time of the season? Most people are exhausted, and you can see the off season. You knew the off season date was after New Volley, right?
Like
Philippines.
Yes, I was tired.
And you had just won something big with the AVP.
But with the AVP, the format, like with
Yeah.
only the sets to 15, and like it was
wasn't
a little
physically a
it was
grind,
a little
right?
easier on
Maybe
the body.
mentally, I would think though, because
Yeah.
you're like coming off. I guess you didn't get to celebrate, so you didn't.
I didn't
have
even
that,
get to celebrate.
that
It was
high
just
of
like
woohoo!
it's kinda
now
like
the
I
World
skipped
Tour
it.
doesn't matter as
Yeah.
much. I don't care. Whatever happens,
Yeah.
it seems like you're just like, okay, let's go championship. Great, we won. Okay, let's go China.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I just think it was like, I think me and Molly obviously wanted to win medals.
Yeah.
Like that was our goal.
Right.
But we went in with no expectations.
Yes.
Like we went in just like, we're going to play the way we know how to play, and we'll just kind of roll with it. And so silver in the first one. And I think we were really just stoked that we got a medal. We were like, let's go.
Yes.
And then like rolling into the next one, it's never like that fun to like get on the podium and then have to re-qualify for the next one.
Yes, I have done that before.
Yeah. So like we were like, oh, you kind of go back to like that, like
It humbles you though,
you're like,
right?
oh my gosh, I have to go back to this qualifier and I
Yeah.
got to do this. I got to qualify again. So
Yeah.
like that whole process is like, you're feeling the pressure and you're like, I just took a silver, but like I got to re-qualify. Like
Maybe that was the key. It was like you're like, woohoo! I'm on this high of I won the AVP, and then it's
Yeah.
like, get in the qualifier. You're like, okay, humbled me.
yeah.
Yes, I won the medal. No, get
Yeah.
back in the qualifier. Humble. Was it qualifier for all 3?
All 3 we had to qualify.
Back in the quali.
Luckily in
Oh.
the second 2, we had to buy the first round. So we only played 1 match.
Okay. Still though.
But still, it's still like
nerve-wracking.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think once we got past the qualifier for the second one, we were just kind of like, okay, let's just go play the way we know how to play.
And you guys felt good. India, a lot
We
of people
felt
get
good.
sick, especially coming from China.
No sickness. It was super windy.
Interesting. Okay.
And sometimes wind does sometimes intimidate me a little bit.
Okay.
Just because I'm fairly new still. Like
Gotcha,
I know
yep.
I started playing in 2019, but like I've had a couple injuries here and there, and so like
Yep.
the amount of reps I've had compared to other people in wind is probably less.
Yeah.
So I like had this little chip on my shoulder, like, oh my gosh, it's a little bit windy, like,
Yeah.
But I think Molly's a great wind player.
Yeah, that's
so
what I was gonna say. Maybe.
I feel like she
Yeah.
helped me a lot and made me feel super comfortable. And we took a bronze in that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were a little bummed about losing our semi.
Yeah.
Because we felt like we could have won that
Who'd
match.
you play in that one?
We played. Why am I blanking? It wasn't Lithuania, Ukraine.
Got it. Okay.
And so I think we were a little bummed out about that. And if we would have won that, we would have had a USA final battle.
That's right, yeah.
But regardless, we went back to our room, we reset, and ended up beating a Lithuania team that is very good.
Yes, for sure.
Monica loves to go over on one, so you have to always be ready for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended
That's
up
the worst, huh?
Yeah, we ended up going to 3 with them, I believe, and winning the bronze medal. And I think at that point we were like, heck yeah, we won a medal. Like, okay,
2
like
medals in one trip.
this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like we were already so stoked,
Yeah.
at that point. And
Yeah.
then obviously going into the last one, Philippines, which I played there before, the year before with Haley, and we didn't qualify. And so again, had to go qualify.
What was the weather like in that one?
It was
They're all wild cards.
actually
for
not
fans.
as hot as it usually is.
Okay.
Like I remember the year before being so hot.
And did you go to India the year before?
I didn't.
India was like
I heard it was
gnarly,
miserable.
Miserable.
Yeah.
China sometimes can be like that.
Yeah.
So like you were in that. It's just funny to me when I see the schedule. And you did it in those 3.
An Asian tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was intense.
Okay.
But yeah, Philippines wasn't too bad. Again, we qualified, and then yeah, we just kind of rode the high. And
How was it getting to the medal rounds again, and then like not convincing yourself that like it doesn't matter if we win. Like this trip's a success either way.
yeah.
We're happy to just play. Or maybe that was the mindset. Some people like playing under that. For me, I don't like when I have that thought in my head of like, oh, now it doesn't matter. Like it's okay because I'm gonna get a silver at worst, and I already have 3 medals here. It's like like
Yeah.
how was it like psychologically like bearing down for that last like and finishing the job and getting an even better medal in the last one?
Yeah. I will say that was probably one of the toughest matches I've played last year. This young team, they both play at Texas, from the Netherlands. They decided to serve me like every ball, and no team across all the tournaments had done that.
Yeah.
Like no team.
Well,
and
it wasn't working not serving you, so they
yeah,
figured might as
they
well
were
give
just
it a
like,
shot.
we might as well go after this girl. And at that point, obviously, I was very tired.
Yeah, right.
My legs were pretty exhausted. One of my knees was kind of bugging me a little bit, and I was just like I just remember mentally like having to reset a lot. And like I have gone back and watched the match, and like you can see that I was like talking to myself out loud, like because it was I was mentally so exhausted.
Yep.
And I remember in one of the timeouts, Molly called. She tried to start talking to me, and I looked over and I was just like, I need a second. Can you give me a second? And I literally just closed my eyes, and I was just like talking to myself in my head, just like trying to reset because it was just so mentally, I was so tired at that point. But I also thought it was really cool and such a great challenge for me to be served every ball in the last match of this 3-week span.
Gold medal match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For it to have so much weight on it and to come out on top, it was just such a cool moment. And obviously like the moment with Molly was awesome. And then to like take pictures with our medals and just to, I don't know, it was just such a cool accomplishment.
For sure.
Yeah.
How do you think that you experienced that moment? You're saying like, mentally grinding through that last match differently than you might have before, like maybe a few years ago, or like before you started getting into maybe the sports psych stuff. You know, you think it would have been a different outcome?
Maybe.
Obviously, you don't know, but
I don't know. I that question took me back to one match during the league. Actually, we were playing Brandy and Mel, and Geena and I were up 14-11, and all we needed was one to win the match.
yeah,
And I felt like I was present, but then I just wasn't. And then they served me, did inside out, served me, did inside out, served me, did inside out, like over and over and over again. And then they ended up winning the match. And like, I just think back to that moment. And like when I was in that gold medal match, like I just kept trying to be as present as possible. And so I even think like just like from that short amount of time to be able to like implement, you know, working
learn
on
from a mistake or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, being able to like know what I need to do to stay present and how to talk to myself on the court to like stay in the moment was just a cool growth moment for me.
Yeah.
So
that's good. I mean, that's a good reminder for all of us. Just like, yes, that moment that sucked and you keep thinking about.
Yes,
it happened, but also like, it's good that it happened because now you have that. You have that experience. You get to fix it and use that weapon going forward. Oh, very cool. Well, congrats on that run. And that was the last tournament you played in?
That was the last tournament I played. It feels like forever ago now.
That's a great way to, off season just feels good the whole time.
Yeah.
Championship and 3 medals and just.
Yeah. I was just stoked to like, you know, because playing on the world tour, it's really hard, you know, with the point system and, you know, especially with like USA and,
I had to just cut half the year off last year. I was so burnt with the world tour.
Yeah. It's like, it's such a grind. And so to like be able to like set myself up points wise this year,
right.
With me and Kylie, it's just cool to feel like, okay, all this, you know, work that I've put in over the past couple years has finally come to fruition, and you know, I can hopefully just keep getting better.
How's it been I know being a part of the national team system, it's traditionally they're actually changing it now a bit, and we're not going to go into that right now, but it's been a lot of like you versus the other USA athletes, you versus the person lifting next to you in the weight room, or like, you know, getting treatment. You versus Kylie, it could be your friend. You know, the way that they had it set up is like, if you win, they don't win. They lose something, right? Like they get health insurance, or you might take their health insurance. But when you do get into that top, let's just say 8, top 12 get funding, but top 8 get somewhat significant money and help and stipends. I don't know. I forget how in the past few years how much time you spent at what levels, but how is it now, like really kind of climbing up into that top tier and getting the full you might have been getting the full help with them before, but you can kind of tell as you rise up the rankings, you get a little bit more resources, a little more treatment, a little bit more massage time, a little more priority on certain things. How's that been, just being a part of the national team and rising up that ranking and getting more support?
Yeah, I think it's been awesome. Obviously, growing up, I didn't play beach volleyball, and I really only got into the beach USA pipeline through Savvy, who kind of asked them if I could join because I was her partner, and so I dedicate a lot of thank yous to her.
Your OG partner.
But it's just been really cool to kind of see how fast you can move up just through those 3 tournaments, right?
Yeah, right. That's actually what's crazy.
That's
the
what's
World
crazy.
Tour schedule too. Now they're doing the 3 out of 4.
Right.
Or rankings. Sorry.
It's crazy. Like I am now top 8. Or I'm number 8, and so now I get funding, and
I'm surprised you're only 8 with those 3 wins.
I know, right?
Although the girls have been,
we got some
girls have been. I guess I was thinking of the guys' side.
Yeah, we got TKN, we got Megan Therese, we got Kelly and Sarah.
Yeah, that's true. Dang.
And then me and Molly. So
and Betsy and them were pretty high on that.
Yeah, they. Well. I think they're right below.
They finally just dropped, right?
But yeah, it's just been awesome.
How gnarly the girls' side is.
It's really gnarly.
It's super gnarly.
But I think for me, obviously one of the biggest aspects is just to have like some financial help.
Yes.
Obviously, we all know that this sport is hard to do because there's not a lot of money. So to feel like I have a little bit of financial backing and to just kind of like feel like I can fully dedicate, my time to being a professional beach volleyball player is really cool and just, it's just awesome. So
yeah, congrats.
thanks.
Congrats on that benchmark, I guess. So I also wanted to chat about like some of the other challenges you've had. I know there's been some injuries along the way. It's been not the easiest journey. You want to go into that a little bit about like some of those challenges you ran into? And I don't know what happened. I know knee?
So
One or two? Yeah, you can break it down.
I've torn both ACLs.
Both, got it.
Which is like kind of crazy because like a lot of people really don't know like the injuries that I've actually gone through.
And like I know that things are happening, but like I said, I'm like, I know it's knees or something, but like it's not like I'm gonna go ask you.
Yeah,
either,
you're
right?
not like fully. I'm not like all over social media like I've done this in my life.
It's kind of like whatever you put out there is what people are gonna kind of know.
Yeah. So I had I did both of those injuries, and one in high school, one in college, and then I also had a shoulder surgery on my rotator cuff back in 2020. So, but now we're feeling pretty good. And then obviously when me and Savvy were partners back in 22 at AVP New Orleans, I tore my meniscus in like the beginning of the match and did not continue to play because I was very concerned that I had maybe like tore my ACL,
Makes sense.
which was like very scary. So I ended up having surgery on that back in 22.
That's
but since then, knock on wood, I've been feeling very, very good.
Giant piece of wood right here. Very authentic.
Yeah.
It works.
I've been feeling pretty good. Like I said earlier, I had some PRP injections. I've had 2 rounds now of that type of injection, which is basically where they draw your blood, they spin it, and then they separate the red and the white blood cells, and then they re-inject you with the white blood cells.
Yeah. I've gotten PRP once on my patella.
Yeah.
Where did you get it on?
I got it
or inside more probably
through,
for you,
like in the joint,
because you have all the your stuff's in there.
Yeah. So
it worked for me, but it seemed like it had like a 6-month delay
like
or something.
Timeline.
At least the way. I mean, I thought it would. I think they told me like 2-3 months or something. And then like, the whole beginning of that season, I was just like, it did not. I think it made it worse. Like I was bummed. Yeah. I felt like it made it actually worse. But then right after that, it hasn't really been a problem since.
It's been okay. Knock on wood. But
yeah. And the PRP worked good for you?
Yeah, it has. I think it's good for promoting healing and helping with pain. Is it more of a
maintenance thing, or is it like?
It's been maintenance for me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should think about that.
I think last year, so my first round of PRP, I was having a lot of pain. They never really told me exactly what was maybe going on, but I had a lot of pain around my fib head, which was just like mentally taking over my life. And
just
at that
pain
point,
itself.
the pain. I've felt a lot of pain before. Obviously, tearing your ACL, that's like significant pain. But like it was just constant pain. And I was like mentally, I just got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Like I need something.
It's not sustainable.
And I didn't want to get cortisone because obviously that's not, the best for.
It's like temporary.
It's not the best. Right? Yeah. And so I decided to try the PRP, and it worked. Definitely worked. I don't have that pain anymore. And
wow.
But I do. My friends would laugh at me, but I do say a lot now that most pain is emotional. So I'm like, maybe I don't know.
I had some emotion. I was deep in
I
my
just
knee.
I just store pain in like
deep in my
knees. I just store it in the knees. But
that's wild. I mean, it's crazy how were those all volleyball? Like playing volleyball? You got
all of them,
even the high school one.
All of them were playing volleyball.
Okay, my sister is a soccer player. She did her both knees twice. Oh. I want to say ACL. One of them maybe was a meniscus, but like 3 ACLs and meniscus or something. Yeah. 2 on each. And she couldn't really play sports after college.
Yeah.
And I just see it so much with, not as much in girls volleyball, girls soccer. It's insane.
Yeah,
Like,
girls soccer is
there's
very
way
high,
more I
such a
feel
high
like
percentage.
I could be making it up, but I think more girls have had ACLs than
Yes.
not, which is
Yes.
kind of mind blowing.
I actually recently heard this like crazy thing. I could mention it, but basically
You don't have to.
I basically heard that when girls are on their periods, their ligaments are actually more laxed.
Oh,
And so that could be potentially something to do
whoa.
with that. Yeah. I don't quote me on that.
Right, right.
I'm not a doctor.
We didn't get this
Yeah.
from the lab. We
Yeah.
didn't.
But my one of my good friends, Kaylee York, she actually plays as well. She does a lot of research on hormones and stuff, learning about the female body, and like she actually told me about that, and I was like, wow, that's very interesting. I'd be curious to know if
Whoa.
it was happening during that. So
Well, I know that's a real thing because I've
yeah.
seen my wife go, do pregnancy where
Yeah.
you can see their bodies change and
Yeah.
like literally your
Yeah.
hips and whatever has to open up and
Yeah.
ligaments have to soften,
Yeah.
which is caused by
Yeah.
hormones, right? I
Yeah.
think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Anyways, we're
But that's a
doctors.
thing.
We are doctors.
That's actually a really interesting thought that we are doctors. No, we are not doctors.
We're
Don't
not
sue
doctors.
SANDCAST. Wow, interesting.
But
Never
yeah.
thought of that.
But yeah, so
But feeling healthy now.
I'm feeling really good. I obviously prioritize a lot of like recovery,
Yeah.
PT. I work at Davis and DeRosa
Yep.
right off PCH.
I've worked with them as well.
They're amazing.
Mhm.
I work with Kelly, and yeah, they take really good care of me. But yeah, I really prioritize rehab and those
Yeah.
types of things.
Yeah, so your training has kind of catered. Have you changed it a lot over the years, like with the injuries and obviously with getting older? You're only 28?
28,
28,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way I lift and some of the things that I like to do in the gym, like, have changed for sure. Like some of my main, like I kind of know what works for me.
Yeah.
But I also like kind of working around the fringes of that to work on kind of like smaller movements.
Yeah.
Really focusing on like posterior chain and
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm pretty quad dominant,
Mhm.
so really got to work on the back side there.
Yeah,
But
me too. um, yeah. Do you do in the gym? Are you doing a lot of like sport specific movements, or do you kind of leave that to the sand to do your volleyball move? Just like sometimes you're simulating your blocking moves, or you're simulating
Yeah.
your defensive moves, or whatever, or do you leave a lot of that to the sand? I know it's a lot of athletes do varying amounts of it.
yeah, most of it's in the sand. I've done
Yeah.
some like plyo work as far as like
Yeah.
blocking
Yeah.
movements in the gym. But yeah, mostly in the sand.
Yeah. I've done a lot in the gym over the years, but
That's
I'm
cool.
like also just at that point too where I'm like I need to evolve here and definitely prioritize recovery. I've been one of those like just get after it in the gym kind of
Yeah.
guys, which I still like to do, but like let's do it to whatever level makes sense to where I'm
Yeah.
at now, right?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting thing for me as well, like kind of explaining to my partners like my my load or my week might
Right.
look different than yours because I know my body so well.
Yeah.
And like I maybe can't train 5 days a week, whereas
Mm-hmm.
you could, and maybe I need to not jump at this practice
Yeah.
because I want to feel good for this practice, or so
It's such an interesting dynamic, something that I guess athletes or even our younger selves when we were in those more team sports like indoor, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like you can't just stop at practice and be like,
Yeah.
Coach, I'm feeling like I know my body.
I'm out.
I'm good. I'm good. I got my reps. Like I'm not gonna finish the drill. You just can't do it, right? Or you don't think about it.
Yeah.
And even a coach wouldn't, I guess, trust you enough to know that that's what's best. But on the beach, it's like, and especially at the professional level, it's like, man, you really got to have a lot of trust in your partner that they're not slacking or anything. And even
Totally.
like, it's hard for athletes like us to want to and like actually stop ourselves from those drills when we need to, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you need 3 days in the sand this week. That's what
Yeah.
your body needs. Your game's gonna be fine. You're not gonna forget how to pass.
Yeah.
But to have that self restraint of like, no, do less.
It's hard.
It's kind of funny, like, because
It's hard.
early on you're always like, whoever does most is going to win. Now it's like,
Yes.
no, whoever does the right amount for them
Yes.
will play to their potential and therefore win. There's just so many levels to it. But
Definitely.
beach volleyball players, they're just, me and Travis always say, like, beach volleyball players are the most hireable athletes. Like, after they're done,
Yeah.
you could hire them from any job. You know, we know how to travel. We know how to be independent. We know how to be on a team. We know how to, grind. We know how to take physical pain, mental thrashings, whether it's, trash talk or whatever,
Yeah.
We know how to be in relationships. We know how to dump people and pick up partners and say the right things at the right time. Public speaking.
Totally.
We run our own businesses, right? We don't have
so much.
We don't
We're
have,
so versatile.
right? How great are we?
I love it. I love it. Hire us.
I like to talk us up on the show. Well, dang, seems like it's been going great, and I think the fans are probably excited to see. I'm excited to see this new partnership. I'm actually I'm a big fan of Geena. She and we're in the same recruiting class at USC.
Wow.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
So we had our first college years together. So big fan of that team.
I'm sure you guys saw the best in each other.
Yeah, somewhat. Dude, her game has been just
getting better
from day one. I think she broke starting lineup at SC her freshman year.
I'm sure.
And just like her game's the same. Just like putting the ball in the right spot, smart, consistent, just location. She can do every skill. And she's just like been steady at that level, like always.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting with Geena. That's for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
She's very impressive.
On the flip side,
that's how she lives her life too.
Right. Yeah. That's
it's just super impressive.
She definitely like knows what she wants. Like most of us wouldn't have the, whatever you want to call it, for the guys, I would say don't have the balls to like actually not play the world tour just because, when you're a beach volleyball player, you'd play AVP and then you try to play world tour if you're capable of it. But she's like, no, I'm gonna kind of like customize my career and my life to what works for me. And she's one of the only people to actually do it and like pull it off. Because it seems like, oh, you don't play world tour, you're not gonna like stay up to the level of these other athletes. And she's like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then she did it.
She's a beast.
It's pretty cool.
She's a beast. Yeah. I mean, obviously MVP of the league.
MVP. Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh.
Craziness.
That
I was
is crazy.
so stoked for her.
That is crazy.
Like, I don't know. It's just like cool to see how much
Well deserved.
time she's put in and to then be like rewarded.
Yep.
It's just so reassuring.
Yeah. Crazy. On the other hand, your other partnership, we don't know what to expect.
Don't know what to expect.
And that's fun in itself as well.
Yeah. We're excited.
I like it.
I think we'll be hopefully main draw of challengers and qualify for
how's
elites.
Kylie's points?
They're decent. We're in the 2,000.
Okay.
2,000 range.
Well, now though, I guess, there's a whole new point system coming out, but don't worry about it, fans.
Don't worry about that.
It's more for us to worry about.
Yeah. You don't need to know yet.
Yeah. We don't need to go there. But, okay, how can fans follow on the journey going forward? I know you're pretty on top of it for social.
Yeah, it goes up and down, but I've been pretty good.
Yeah.
For the last year, but you can follow me at It's Big Toe. The toe is spelled Teaux because that's a Louisiana thing from LSU. I have TikTok, but Instagram's better. Just follow me on Instagram.
Are we allowed to use TikTok?
I don't even know. Is it even working? I don't know.
I don't know.
But you can catch some funny content on my Instagram, and if you really want to follow me on all platforms, you can follow me on Facebook at Toni T. Rodriguez.
There you go. Keeping that updated too, huh?
Hey, you got to keep the Facebook rolling.
I heard it's coming back. I heard Facebook's.
I got my Instagram linked to my Facebook,
so it all goes there. I think I'm doing that.
It
too.
updates everybody, but that's how I keep up with most of the people back home.
Okay.
So.
And then your partner's pretty on top of it as well. Like you said, you guys are all making funny videos and
that's the new
stuff
niche.
Like that. Yeah.
Let's get after it.
I like it. Perfect. Well, looking forward to next season. And I know we got a few more weeks here till the new challenger run. A run of 3 challengers in a row. It's kind of your bread and butter.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Best of luck with all of
Thanks.
it. Thanks for coming
You
on the
too.
show.
Thanks.
And I'll see you on the sand probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tony.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.
Shoot.